Hey, Dave, Dennis with CFO on the go, Sage Partner. Hey, just a high level thing here, give you some ideas what this can do. So, and one thing you're going to find with CFO on the go and Sage is that we have always have lots of choices or lots of alternatives. So, one way to go would be to use Sage 100 contractor to do everything you want. The other concept would be to use Sage 100 to do everything except for your CRM and to use ACT, which used to be a Sage product. It's not any longer. But ACT been around forever. It's what we use to manage all of our prospects and all of our stuff. And it interfaces to a certain extent with Sage 100. So you can keep all of your prospecting and lead generation, all that stuff in ACT. And then when they become a client, you actually just create that client over in Sage 100 automatically without having to rekey the thing. So you kind of keep them separate. Now, I'm not going to show you that because I'm not an ACT expert, but in accounts receivable, oops, when we go into receivable clients, I've got a couple of different tabs here. I'm just going to pull somebody up I already have set up. So this is the basic information. Uh, Jessica, name, status, and these are customizable by you. Anything with an arrow here, just remember, you see this little curved arrow? Anything with that arrow means you can add more fields if you want. So prospect, suspect, whatever you want to call these, don't contact them anymore, current client, COD client, which means they probably don't pay their bills on time, and then a bunch of different contacts for that person or that company. So the stuff is tracked there. A couple other addresses, billing, but there's this thing called Sales and Marketing tab. The dates you want to follow up on, some date received, and these can be changed, right? This date you got received. This is the date you called them back last. You'd have to enter that, and Active would automatically enter that. Who the contact is, etc. Where'd you get this lead from? What area are they located in? What size are they? What product are the information in? Are they interested in inspection or repair or a full out replacement? Or they want to sign a maintenance contract. So you could have different products that they're interested in. And then these fields, lots of user defined fields at the bottom. So one, two, a couple of check boxes. So three, four, five, six, seven, eight. So there's a bunch of fields. So you can do some stuff with this. A lot of our clients do because they just want to have everything in one system. So that is a strong possibility that you could probably get away with this. I'm just not sure how large you are. I mean, if you're managing 2,000, 3,000 prospects, this would work fine. If you tell me, hey, Dennis, we're managing 15 to 25,000, then I would suggest you go with ACT. I mean, we manage somewhere in the drip campaigns and what we do, maybe 4,000, and we use ACT and we're real happy with it. So anyway, let me know. But there's what we can do from the CRM system. And so I guess when I set up a client, I can say, hey, you know what? It's a prospect and I want to follow up with them on this date. They called me about an annual maintenance contract. They found me on a job sign. Basic information. At that point, they're in a system, and now I can start writing reports or queries to extract out things that I'm supposed to do on a specific date. If I want to say, hey, I want to pull a mailing list of everybody that said they were interested, currently a prospect that's interested in an annual maintenance contract, etc., that's located on the north side of Chicago for some reason, whatever you want to do, and say, boom, we're doing a mailing to those people. And so you could pull a list, and then print labels or print letters and do that. All capable in Sage 100 in the core system. And then up here, I didn't show it to you, there's a little gold notepad. And then I can keep all my notes in chronological order as well. So anyway, that's kind of how the CRM system works. And I think it works fairly well. So in addition to that, full project management, all kinds of job cost reports, hours to complete analysis, cost to complete analysis, change order management, subcontract management, job management. I would expect that this would be a report that would be useful for you. I'm just going to pull one up real quick. As we put an estimate together, and this could be your cost codes, your items of work. Remove roofing, remove sheeting, install sheeting, install, paper, install shingles, whatever. These are the tasks that you have to do on the job. This is the hours that somebody thought it was going to take to do. These are the hours that have been processed through payroll. and a very simple overruns or underruns as of this minute, and then what percent are we actually complete in the field to something that gets updated on your time schedule, whether it be weekly or monthly, and then you can see hours to complete and whether you're going to be over or under. And so something most of our clients do on a weekly basis to get an idea of where they are as far as schedule on the job. In addition to that, one other way of looking at it, and this is my favorite way, and if you've watched any of my other videos, you've probably heard me say this before, but give me 1 second, pull one up here. Again, put your task in here, ignore what's here, but mentally just insert your task. Again, this is what the budget said it was going to take. This is how many units I had. It could be 24 squares, 24 cubic yards of removal, 6 truckloads to the dump, whatever it is. It's measurable units. Cost to date in the system, which includes all your payroll costs plus the associated burden. Excuse me, I had to whip my whistle there. Associated burden, all your material invoices, subcontract invoices, equipment rentals, what have you. These are the units that are completed. Again, a quantity that's performed, measurement that's performed in the field and uploaded. So a very simple example is, based on this information, I budgeted $86 a unit, and it cost me $138 a unit. On this one, I budgeted $80, and it cost me $87 or $88. This is the information that's useful during the job, but very, very useful as a job is completed. That you sit down with your both project manager and estimator that estimated the project and kind of compare notes on why the estimator think is going to cost that, and the guy in the field spent that. No finger pointing, no blame, but let's make sure we don't make this mistake on the next job if this is going to be an occurrence on the next project. Or is this a one-off where something just didn't go right or we had to do something twice for some reason? But I want to know why I spent almost twice as much as I should have. And I'm trying to find one that goes, well, none of my stuff in my demo data ever seems like it's positive. But in this case, we thought it would cost 83 and we spent 79. So is that 79 a good number? Can I use 79 for my future work, which allow us to get more work? But those are conversations that you guys can have once a job's completed. Just 2 simple reports, part of the core system. I just have them on my desktop because those are reports that I look at all the time. The other thing that I think you'll find of interest is potentially, and I say that, is our estimating module. I'm not sure how you estimate today. If you're like 99% of the contractors out there, you're using Excel. So I'm just going to go in here. Just hang on 1 second. Let me just open some things up here, make sure everything's here. Hang on. I have no idea how accurate this is or how close this is to reality, but this is what we call an assembly. You call it a bill of materials, you can call it a kit, we call them assemblies. I measured a job, I came up with a field measurement, or I used PlanSwift or some kind of electronic takeoff device, and I physically measured 60.34 squares. I enter that number in there. Then these are all components for each square. So I need 0.55 rolls of material per square. I need that much of a box of staples, that many 3.3 bundles of shingles, this many pounds of nails, and an hour of labor for every square. At that point, it just does the math. It takes this times each of these, gives me my extended quantity here. This is my price for those things that came out of my database, and now I have my extended cost. And I put a markup and overhead on there. Boom, I'm done. Move on to the next one. Next thing is I have some eaves. How many linear feet of eaves do I have? 289. These are the components for each foot. Makes that same calculation. So the nice part is all I am dropping in is here. It becomes very consistent from estimate to estimate. We don't miss things. We don't leave things out. You know what? This happens to be a job where it's got a lot of travel, and so we're going to build some extra overtime in on this job. So we're going to make this job a 28.98 per hour. I can just override that for this job. Nothing's hard coded in here. I can change these. If I actually want to have formulas in here to make those calculations rather than hard coding this in like a production rate, I can do so many squares per day or so many squares per hour. I can do that as well. So if you can do it in Excel, typically we can do it here. A couple of reasons. Efficiency is the number one reason. Is once I am done with this estimate, I can come up here and say export this to the budget. So all those budget numbers go in there for cost. I can actually prepare a proposal for the owner. If I know I have to buy those materials from a supplier, I can create the purchase order to buy those materials or that felt or the nails or whatever. If I am going to subcontract out some of this, I can create the subcontract. And if this is a small job, a repair job, something like that, I can actually just take this estimate and send it right to a work order for a short duration job. So I have the budget, they have their list of materials, and it's now on a work order for them to go out and do. So let me close this. I'm not going to save it. And the next step here, and again, we have a lot of pieces, and I'm just giving you kind of the cook's tour here, so to speak, but we do have a dispatch board, electronic dispatch board with our techs or crews going across the top. Here's all of the different times I have this guy scheduled for. So I can say, hey, somebody has an hour job that they need done on Friday. I can always plug it in right here because I have time on my schedule. I just can highlight that and create a new work order, take the details. Excuse me. Each of these colors, whoops, didn't want to do that. Put this guy back up here. Each of these colors means something. It's when you set up the system. So green could be your service jobs. This peachy color could be inspections, what have you. But you could actually schedule it and see this dispatch board of what type of work you have scheduled out, what have you. So full work order dispatching system. Great for those inspections where you got a guy going 4, 5, 6, 10 places a day. Somebody calls in and says, hey, I have a leak in my roof, which, by the way, I had a couple of weeks ago. You can come in here and say, hey, I can send somebody out there at 10 o'clock. You can schedule them in here, create the work order. And when I'm done with that, I'm not going to do it on that one. Down here, I can just right-click this and email that to the technician or the salesperson and say, hey, I need you to go out and see this person at this address with this phone number on this date at this time and do an inspection. All possible in Sage 100. We're walking. If you want to be running, we can actually mobilize this with iPads or Android devices so that you can actually dispatch this out to that. He could go out and do the proposal in a work order out in the field and leave a quote behind in their hands. And or if you're doing the work and it's a small service job, actually take payment in the field. So we have a lot of opportunities with this solution. We've been dealing with the solution for 13 years. I've lost track, 1,350 plus or minus clients that use this software. So we're real familiar. I've got 20 consultants that really know the software even better than I do that can make this work for you. So let me know what you think. If you'd like to schedule something further, then just give me a call, shoot me an email, and we'll get you on the calendar. Hey, Dave, thanks a lot. Appreciate you taking the time to watch this.